back, it's the next day. It's like 2 p.m. So let me share some context. I drilled a hole in that tank at 6 o'clock yesterday. It leaked all night. House smell is strong, pure gas. I got the garage there right now. It filled the pan up overnight. I left, went to the barbershop, came back this morning. It's still leaking gas. So now I just lowered the back of the car onto my dollies or whatever. Quite a bit poured out, but it's still leaking, bro. We are barreling towards 24 hours. This thing is still leaking. I really don't. I don't know how that amount of gas is in there. I really don't even know like why it's still there. I'm gonna let it drain for a little bit longer with the car lowered. I'm gonna lift it up and hopefully whatever residual fuel that was able to come down will go to the other side once I lift the car back up, and we'll be done with the drips. And I can finally tap this hole, get this fuel system, and close the fuel system up so that we won't have a gas smelling house. So that's the next plan. I'm probably gonna let it drip for probably another 10-15 minutes, and then I'm gonna lift the car back up and hopefully we stop the drips. All right, so update on the auxiliary pump or whatever. Got the pump mounted. You guys can see that. It ain't wanting to focus. Got the pump mounted. Got the filter on right there. Lines run back. You can see there's a so I guess I don't know what you call that. Maybe 180 degree. It turns it around though. And this is the feed. This feeds this line here feeds the stock fuel line, which goes into this T. So I showed you guys that already. This other line goes into the hole we put in the tank. And the camera angles are doing pretty bad. But I don't know if y'all can see that, but we got some extra stuff down there. Yeah, so that's my bad. That's my fault. What happened was I should have brought this fitting down a little bit further. So I was trying to, so the only piece that's supposed to be here is this stock elbow here. This is supposed to screw into the tank. So I had this up too high, so as I'm twisting this in to tighten it and test fit it, it's hitting this piece. So I had to get an extension from Lowe's. So there's a fitting that goes in, then I have a coupler here. Then with the coupler, I have a stock piece that was supposed to go in there. The piece that came with the kit, rather. Earlier, this was yesterday. This was still kind of wet, the sealant, but it seems to have dried. So we may be in business. We may be okay. If it does leak, I'm just gonna get some tank repair epoxy for plastic tanks and try to seal that up. But yeah, so that's kind of the contraption I got hooked up there. This line feeds the pump from the tank, and then we got there. So the only thing that needs to be hooked up as far as down here is the ground. I can't find my multimeter, so I'm gonna have to find it, but once I find it, we'll tap this somewhere to ground it off, or whatever, and that's it. This is the positive lead, which I have coming through the, whatever this metal is, and you can see it down there. And that goes up through the fender liner. I got new fender liners for both sides. It goes to the fender liner and it comes up, so that runs in here into the fender liner. You can see the fender liner right there. It runs in this little crack. And then this is your hob switch, I think is what they call it. So I just got the line running right here until we get boost reference set up. Then there's a relay, which I have zip tied right here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a constant hot, which I have bolted in down there. And also is a switch power, which I have here on the ECM plug. It's in the fuse box. And you just, put, this stuff won't focus. Just put your stock fuse in there with the other fuse, and assuming that's gonna work. Of course, we don't know yet. But that's pretty much it, man. As far as the install of the auxiliary fuel pump. So the auxiliary fuel pump is in. And in the last episode, you guys saw that the fuel pump is in. So we should have fuel. They're probably wondering, what are you gonna do about injectors? Well, I have, for injectors, I have these. These are Snake Eater Performance injectors, and I think they're 2200 or whatever. I'll confirm that later. Anyway, today's episode is we're waiting on Snake Eater to get here, but we got to get the shifter installed on the transmission so we can get the transmission into the car. And yeah, so we start putting the turbo kit on. So it's pretty straightforward. Of course, I'm not going to assemble everything on here, but it's a lot easier to do some of this stuff while it's not in the car. So let me go ahead and get that stuff ready. Alright, so I got everything on the table laid out for the shifter, the dynamite pads, these go on the inside, the shifter itself. So some of this stuff has to be assembled, obviously. These are the arms in here, so we got to go ahead and start putting some of this stuff together so that we can put it onto the transmission. And then this other stuff we will do once we get it in the transmission and everything seated back in the car. Alright, so guys, take a look real quick, man. We got the MGW shifter on there installed. It's pretty simple. We change out the arms, the shifter assembly, your center linkage here, put your clips back on. Same thing with the arm, put your clips on there. Route with the Dynamax pads, kind of help with vibration, and then you put this piece on the back, which will screw. You'll screw some nuts onto the top of that from inside the car. So at this point, we are, folks, essentially ready to get the trans back in. So that's what we're about to do. I will check in with y'all once we get to a decent stopping point to pick the camera back up. Alright guys, I don't know where I left off at. It's the next day, and we got the trans in. If I can see that, you probably can't. We got the trans in, and we got the MGW shifter in with the red slapstick. So, you know, it's pretty legit. I like it. I never was a big fan of the balls or whatever, but it is what it is. So, feels pretty good. Feels pretty solid. You know what I mean? Alright, man, y'all take a gander. It's kind of hard to film up on here, but it's really hard to film. But hope y'all can see that, but we got AGP turbos up under there. Y'all see that? Yeah. So it's a mid-mount, I think is what they would call this. And we got a mount, we got the heat shields on there. I'm not even gonna show, you can see it right there. It's one on both sides. Really not that hard to mount. We got the oil lines ran, or at least the, I think that would be the fill. We got to do the drain line to hook up to the scavenge pump, but We got the blow off valves with the dumps. Got to realign that one there and tighten them down. They're not tight right now, but they're on there. Turbos there, yeah, so we're good. We're in good shape. So hopefully, if I got enough footage once I go to edit this, I'm gonna wrap this video right here. So hopefully the next video, because I'm not gonna space this out for y'all much longer. I'm gonna go ahead and knock this stuff out. So next video, hopefully we'll have the car done and get ready to run. Bled the clutch earlier. That's good. It's a little stiff. But that's bled, no leaks. So we're gonna wrap up the rest of this stuff. So y'all know what to do, man. If you're ready to see this thing run, like, comment, and subscribe. Holla back at your boy.